Good morning, YouTube viewers. Welcome to the channel. So I'm here at the sailboat today. Going to answer a question for a viewer who asked. He asked a couple of things. He wanted to change his outhaul lines. Well, actually, he mentioned he wanted to change all the running lines, the running lines. And then he asked about the boom vang, and then he asked about the topping lift, how the topping lift is attached. So we'll start with the outhaul one, because this is kind of the most complicated part of his question, and I couldn't think of a good way to really explain all this stuff, just reading it out. So I figured I would kind of do like a little diorama here. So this is my mast from my sailboat. This is the gooseneck side over here, and then obviously the end is out there. And the lines that are here on the gooseneck side, you have your topping lift is this green one. This is the outhaul. And then this one here is the reefing line. Now this is the bottom of the mast on this side, and the bottom of the boom is this side, top of the boom is that side. So this would all stand up like this on the boat, right? And this attaches to the mast, right? The gooseneck pin. So to start, inside this boom, this outhaul line goes through a block system or pulley system, whichever you want to call it. So there's a pulley inside the mast right about here, right where this one's sitting, and attaches to these two rivets. Okay, there's like a little loop inside here, and this pulley's attached, and it can't move here. It's stuck there. And then about halfway up the boom, there's another pulley, very similar to this one, a little smaller, but very, very similar. All right? And then off the end of this pulley, your steel cable that comes out of the end of the boom for your outhaul, I'll show it in a second, is attached here. All right. So what happens inside here is this outhaul line that comes in through the gooseneck here. There's a little pulley right about here. It comes up and through, and then it runs along the boom and goes around this pulley here. Then it runs back down to this pulley here, runs around it, runs back up, and is tied off here. Now when I looked inside, mine just has, the line is just wrapped around, and then it's pinched with some kind of a brass collar or something, and that's where this line is terminated. All right, so starting from this side now, we'll go back. So we have it terminated here, the line's attached, can't come off. It runs down the boom, around this pulley, back up the boom, around this pulley, and then runs down and then comes out the end. All right, so as you pull on the line, it drags this pulley forward down the boom, which pulls on the steel cable that's attached here, which pulls your outhaul. All right, so that's how that works. If you're going to change the line, you're probably going to have to take your gooseneck off. Now I already had mine off. You can see I got, like, I think those are 3/8 bolts. I just drilled and tapped the gooseneck and just put bolts in, stainless steel bolts. That seems to work pretty good. I haven't had any issues yet. So I can take this off really easily. I had this off earlier trying to videotape inside, but it was too dark to see anything, so I didn't bother. But you can drill out the rivets you got, take this gooseneck off, and drag all this stuff out. Put some twine around the back of the steel cable that hangs at the back. Put a bunch of twine or something on there so you can fish it back out later when you're done. And then pull all this stuff out of the gooseneck side so that you can cut this cable off, or this line. I'm not sure, yours might be tied in a bowline or something, but mine had a metal crimp on it. So you can get that off, unfish all the line off, unfish all the line off of it. Then when you run it back on, you go in through the gooseneck, up around this pulley, down around this pulley, back up, tie it on. Then you can pull your twine, fish all this back in, and it sits about halfway. Right about here. If I had longer line, I could pull it, so you don't have very much line here, right? But if you have really long line on there, you could probably pull it all the way out the other end. I don't know if that'd be any good or not. But you want to be careful you don't get tangled up with your topping lift and your reefing line here, because they run along the boom, just sit on the bottom, and run along below all this stuff. So this is why I have the bungee cord here on mine, is to keep tension on that pulley system in here, because if you don't have attention, it'll flip around inside the boom, and then all of a sudden you have a bunch of line all tangled up in there. So that's why I had to take my gooseneck off, was to untangle the line. I got all twisted up here and was bound together, and I couldn't even use the outhaul properly. So just keep in mind of that. Now, another question you asked, let's get these pulleys off of here, was where the boom vang attaches. Well, on this particular boom, I don't know if you're using a Z-spar boom or not. I have a Z-spar mast and a Z-spar boom, but my boom vang attaches right here to this little ring that I have the bungee cord on. Just comes down from here and goes to the mast, the bottom of the mast. There's a little clip on the mast pin that holds the mast on the tabernacle. And it's just a little pulley system that attaches in between here. And then you go a little further out, and then I have my main sheet attachment. And a little further out is the two reefing, I'm guessing they're reefing hooks. I use one of them for reefing, for the reefing line. I only have one reef on my sails, so I only use one of these. And then at the end, slide this in just a little bit more. At the end I have, here's my topping lift. It's just a direct run from the gooseneck. There's no pulleys on this one. You have your outhaul cable here. All right, just attaches to a ring. And then you have your reefing line. So for my topping lift, I just tie it off. There's a line that hangs down from the masthead, and I literally just tie a bow line or put a really small shackle or something on there. The boom's not heavy, so I don't think you really need pulleys or anything on there. You can put one if you want, but I tend to find that any extra weight there tends to, if it's attached there, tends to hit the back of the sail when you're sailing, so you're always adjusting your topping lift to keep it kind of snug so it's not hitting the back of the sail. So that's all I do with it. Other than that, I hope that answers your questions. I might have to get around to changing my outhaul line as well. It's getting kind of frayed here, and this is a pretty old line. It's pretty rough on the hands now, so maybe I'll get around to changing it one day. But I would think it would be the best to haul all the pulleys and stuff, tie some twine around the cable, haul all the pulleys and stuff out the gooseneck side, so it's easy to work on. You can fish your new line in and, you know, tie it off on the back of this guy that's way up in here, and then you can just pull everything back in and just make sure nothing's all tangled up and stuff when you put it in. All right, well, I hope that helps.